Very Good Girls. Why did I watch this movie? I saw the trailer and looked alright. I saw Dakota Fanning and I love her, and I saw Elizabeth Olsen and I love her as well. And I figured, okay, even if it's not that good, they will be good enough. I was wrong. Well, no, they were good enough, but the movie was just not good at all. My biggest problem with the movie was actually the characters and their motivations, because it was all over the place. This is such a messy movie. And I understand that they're young, they're only 18, and, they're just sort of falling in love. These two girls fall in love with the same guy, and, I get that their lives are a bit confusing right now, but this was just ridiculous. And it gets to a point where you have no idea what's happening, because the characters don't know what they want and don't know what they're doing, so you don't know what they're doing. Like Dakota Fanning's parents are getting a divorce, and she's pissed that her father left. Well, they're not getting a divorce, but he cheated on her mom and she kicked him out. So Dakota Fanning's pissed and she wants her father to come back. So you're like, okay, she loves her dad and she wants him to come back. Next thing you know, he's outside of the house and he's like, why? He's like, come on, let's go to dinner. And she's like, no, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you. And then she doesn't talk to him. She doesn't answer his phone call. She doesn't see him. But then she goes home and yells at her mom and says, why don't you let him come back? And then he does come back. And then she's pissed that he's back. And they're like, isn't this what you wanted? And she gets pissed again and storms off. I don't understand. Maybe I missed something. So things like that. I really don't like I didn't like the motivations, I guess. And then, Elizabeth Olsen had the same thing where she really hates spending time with her family. Her family is very loud and they're very, free and hippies, and she doesn't like that. But at the same time, she's just like them. And she's always like, can we have some peace and quiet? When she's the loudest one there. And her father dies, sort of halfway through the movie. And she's all sad, of course, understandably. But we never had any time to bond with her family. Her mom was Demi Moore. What the fuck was Demi Moore doing in this movie? Just so they could say we have Demi Moore. She had 2 minutes on screen and she didn't do anything. We never had a chance to bond with the father that died, and we were supposed to be sad, and I was sad for her, but it was at the same time okay, we saw him once. And I'm just not a big fan of these stories where a girl meets a random guy and now she's in love after 2 minutes and she's just gonna run off with him. Same thing in Endless Love. I just don't buy that. Maybe I'm just heartless or something, but I would not go off with a random guy that I just met on the beach and that took me to his house and we kissed and then he told me to get out. So that happened. The first time they met him, he was an asshole. Next thing you know, he takes a picture of Dakota Fanning and he's looking for her. So she tells him where she lives, because, that's smart. And he just shows up at her house after, telling her to get the fuck off. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of those movies where we can do this stupid shit and it's okay because we're in love. You've known each other for 2 minutes and he's sneaking into her house through her bedroom window while she's in the shower, and I'm just not a fan of that. I get that they're supposed to be in love and this is great and this is summer and it's time to have fun, but my god, really? And all the sex scenes were really awkward, actually, because Dakota Fanning looked like she was being molested. It was very awkward for me to watch. the first time was actually pretty accurate. The first time she had sex with him, because she was really scared. I imagine that's what everybody's first time was, and you could definitely see her. I guess that she was scared. And he was okay. He made her feel comfortable and everything, but she looked like that every time they had sex. She looked like she was scared every time, and it was really awkward for me to watch. And then she had the whole thing with her boss. She was saying that her boss is a pervert. Her boss was actually really nice. He liked her. Sure, he was older, and he was looking at her all the time, but he wasn't like... He wasn't creepy. He wasn't, like, inappropriate with her in any way. You know, he made himself clear that he likes her, but he never, like, forced himself on her or anything like that. And she basically said that she was verbally molested, and I didn't see it that way at all. And then she goes off and gets drunk with him, and is about to have sex with him, because she's pissed at the boyfriend. Which, by the way, the boyfriend was just such a random character. He was the most replaceable character ever. He could have been played by literally anyone. He could have been played by a plank of wood. Mr. Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy, that would be fine. So, yeah, he was just not there at all. He had no character development. He had nothing interesting about him. He could have been played literally by anyone. He was completely replaceable to me, and he was supposed to be sort of the center of the movie, not the main character, but sort of the center where these two girls fall in love with him, and he basically ruins their friendship. And he had nothing to offer. I don't know how anyone would fall in love with him. He had nothing to offer. And Dakota Fanning was a total bitch. Elizabeth Olsen was too desperate, and the only thing that I sort of liked was the relationship between them, because most of the dialogue was pretty accurate. That's how I would talk to my friend. So it was actually pretty accurate, the way they interacted. That's how two best friends would talk to each other. But the negative aspects sort of outweigh the positive ones. And one of the strangest things, actually, that I did not appreciate at all, this was not good, was the music. Because it was pretty clear that they just selected a random assortment of songs that had the lyrics describing exactly what was happening in the movie. They put a song in for the sake of explaining the plot, I guess. I don't know, you know, she's having sex with him and everything's great, and there's a random ass song that's saying we're free, or something like that, we're in love, and it's like the lyrics had to describe what was happening, even though it was the most random song ever. So I didn't like that at all. And then the ending was exactly what I expected it to be. It wasn't anything too... There wasn't any plot twist or anything, and it wasn't a redeeming ending either. So yeah, Very Good Girls was not very good at all. I was hoping that would be good for Dakota Fanning and Elizabeth Olsen, but they looked gorgeous, by the way. They looked so pretty in this movie, and I think that's the only reason why I stuck with it. Every time Dakota Fanning looked up and you could see her blue eyes, she was so pretty. And that's really it. That's all I have to say. That they looked pretty, I guess that's something, right? I guess if you're a fan of them, you can watch this movie. Other than that, no, not that good. Not that good. Sorry.